So we are to the chief's letters. And again, I want to thank Commander McCrae for helping get these letters done. I'm sure Mr. Harness has something to add. Before he does that, I would like to say this. We now have an answer, I think, for most of the letters, if not all of them, that we had sent to the chief. However, as an example, if anyone who's been at these meetings before, you know that we will go through what the evidence showed, what our findings were, how we, and the findings would include it's sustained, it's not sustained, it's unfounded, it's exonerated. There's 5 different ways that we can judge the evidence once we go through it, once the staff does their work. The letters we got back from the chief said, in this case, you said not sustained, we say exonerated. That's it. That's what the letter says. So there's no way for us as a board to learn from that. There's no way for us to understand the difference between how the police department sees something and how we as civilians see it. And so while there's an answer, it has no meat on the bone. And that's problematic because we will continue to make the same mistake, if it's a mistake, and it may not be, but we will continue to repeatedly miss an opportunity to learn why the department sees it differently than we do. Unless, and I believe the ordinance says that it should be explained why there's a difference of opinion, that we see it differently, I, the chief, see it differently, is not the same as explaining to us why you see it differently. So, Major Tyler, if you want to speak to that, you're welcome to. I'd like to hear what Mr. Harness says when you're done.
Thank you, Chair Fine and members of the board. When we discussed the lack of the letters to you when we had our first meeting, when we were trying to help repair the communications, I had explained to you that I thought it would be better if we met on the whys of those non-concurrences versus putting more information in something that's a public record so that we don't get into too many details of the case. And so we had talked about having those meetings to discuss the why so that we could have that understanding and learn from each other as to why there was a different resolution on the case from each of the investigative bodies. But we haven't done that yet. So I'm happy to either pick through some of those cases, because obviously there was a lot of them that we can do that on, or we can do it from a certain point moving forward. But the reason that the letters are written the way they were was for that purpose, which I thought we had discussed, like I said, when we met back in January.
I don't remember agreeing to that. I mean, certainly discussing the whys of things and learning is advantageous for sure. But I would say that the public absolutely needs to know that is the reason why, what the chief's non-concurrence is, what's the basis for it. So keeping that from the public is counter to what we're here to do. So I don't understand that our letters say specifically, this is what we found, here's what the evidence was, and here's what we determined, sustained, not sustained, exonerated, whatever it is. But if the chief's letter doesn't say that, there's nothing for the public to look at side by side that says there's a difference of opinion. There's no analysis we can do that will help us figure out how we're different, how civilians see it differently than the police department does. So I know I didn't agree to that. That the letters would be that circumspect. I would not do that because I think it's not what we signed up to do. I don't think it's what the city council asked us to do.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chair Fine, on the ordinance that we're going to be talking about later tonight, in attachment C, one of the things that we talked about was the non-concurrence, and we've added a recommendation in the ordinance that the chief would come and explain publicly why there's non-concurrence.
Well,
so we'll talk about that later.
I appreciate that, and I think that certainly our commitment is to the public and to make sure that the public knows that there is a difference of opinion and what it is. And I don't think, on the other side, I don't think that the chief can learn from us how we see things unless we're in a dialogue. So I appreciate your willingness to have a dialogue. It just doesn't supplant the need to be straight with the community and be upfront with it. So the letters don't do it for me at all. I don't know, how do you all feel?
I concur.